Yeah, what's going on? I found out about my divorce on YouTube, Stella Damasos. All right, let's dig in a little bit deeper into it. I'm gonna play this video. Shout out to Teju Oyelakin, the legend Teju, comedian, host, TV host. Shout out to him. I'm gonna react to this video within the fair use guidelines. But yes, do me a favor. As you're coming in, make sure you hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this short video and react to it. Hold on one second. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go for it.
Your third marriage anyway?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, so here's with your okay, but so here's the thing. Have you spoken about what happened with your third marriage anyway?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. You do know that nature abhors a vacuum.
Of
so
course.
People keep filling
People
in.
will ask me.
And they'll keep filling in all sorts of things. And I'm thinking to myself that why don't
That's a good quick lesson right there. Okay. When you leave certain types of vacuum, right, people will keep feeling it. Okay, but there's the other side of it too that he didn't mention. Sometimes you just allow people to feel it. Okay, sometimes, not all the time, but it's not as simple as a dry cut throat principle that you should just answer to everything. That's not necessarily true. It just depends. It depends. I know that's the word that all of us are scared of, which is it depends, right? But in certain things you need to answer to it. Okay, depending. Sometimes answering to it will give you closure. Oftentimes it won't give you the closure. It might even make things worse. When it's coming from a place of you need to satisfy other people outside of self, if it's purely stuff that you're trying to do for the outside, it will come back and bite you in the butt in the wrong way, because you'll basically continue to dig a deeper hole, So that's still a good thing to pay attention to. Sometimes you should understand that if it's a vacuum, people will keep filling it, and if you know that this is bothering you, you might want to say something, even if it's just a statement. That's what statements are for. But you want to make sure that it doesn't cross the line into shalaye. Yeah.
Doesn't Stella even talk about this? Because based on some of the little things you told me, I mean, this wasn't, so forget fault. It's in the fact that people are misconstruing things, because even this person you're supposed to be enemies with, because she snatched somebody's husband, they are mortal enemies. I mean, according to what you told me, you guys are not even enemies.
We're not. I have not. There's a way you present something, people will think you're just trying to defend yourself and make yourself look good. And I'm a private person. I do videos, talk about random things, but my private life, I'm very private. So we're not enemies.
We could tell, Stella.
Talk, but I don't come out to say, hey, those that are fighting me and saying that I did this to her, I did that. We are talking now, we're friends, because that's the expectation. We are friends. We'll even start posting ourselves and, oh, darling, oh, baby. I'm not that kind of person, because I value.
See, that makes sense to me. I don't know if you've noticed, there are certain type of people that, especially if they are performers, they still like to have privacy, especially if they are popular like her. I still consider her a rock star, and what that means is that she's popular. That means people are interested in her personal life, but that's like the only one last thing she has left, because her life is by default public, right? So there's a lot of weight on these types of people. I just want you to pay attention to that. There's a lot of weight emotionally that they're carrying, especially when this is real life events. What happened to Stella Damasos was that a little while ago, maybe less than a year, she broke the internet. Basically, her third husband, walked away. That's not fun, especially if she's been talking about relationship and stuff. They try to do a relationship show together. Some of you don't realize that if you talk about relationship a lot, there's a lot of weight on you, because in addition to you, the audience, your partner actually put a lot of weight on you too, because they judge you. Like you say all these things, but then you have your own flaws, and even though you admit to it, they still kind of judge you with that, directly or indirectly. So I can understand. Like, I'm having a little bit different level of respect for her. She's just a human being like the rest of us, But let's keep going.
Privacy.
Okay.
We're good. We're friends. We have been talking even before people ever thought that. Like, when all of this was going on, when all the media wahala was going on, we had already started talking because we had a common denominator.
Okay.
Her child.
Okay.
All right, so she's talking about Doris Simeon right now. She's not actually talking about the fact that she found out about her divorce online yet. She's talking about Doris Simeon, who is the ex of the husband that just left. Okay, so it's a lot of things going on there. A lot of people accuse her of stealing that person's husband, right? Let me tell you something. If you are a follow-up wife right after another person, even if it wasn't stealing, people will still insinuate that you stole. If that line is blurry, like if you knew that person before, people will still. How much more if people know that, hey, wait, you were hanging out with this person before they were divorced? I'm just saying that's a weight that she's gonna have to carry for the rest of her life. I actually didn't know for a long time that she, like, people call her husband snatcher. It's kind of weird, but one thing we ultimately know is that nobody can snatch a human being. At the end of the day, that human being had autonomy, agency, yes, even when juju is involved, okay, of their own life, and they made a decision to go somewhere else. And you have to live with that, because that's actually the reality. They made a decision to go somewhere else. And if you can live with that, you can live with everything else. A lot of people have a hard time living with that. And that's what you see when they project on people like Stella and say she's a husband snatcher. It's because they don't believe, like some people don't believe people can leave them. No, people can actually leave you, and that should be fine. Well, you should make it fine eventually. I understand it feels terrible to be rejected. Nobody likes rejection. But you should be okay with that. The faster you can get with that game and be okay with that, the easier it is for you to move forward. That's why it's difficult to do in the first place.
He was with me and he was her child, so we had to come together to find the best way for his interests.
Okay.
It wasn't about me, it wasn't about her or the man. It was about the child. That was everybody's interest. That was the one connecting everyone. You couldn't avoid that. So we were not enemies. Not in the least. I told you about it. I showed you some things ahead.
Yeah,
So.
you and Doris Simeon, you're not enemies.
We're not enemies.
I mean, so I laugh now because when you said common denominator, I thought it was the man.
No.
And I mean, because according to my own mathematics, my emotional geometry, I am thinking that if two women who are ex-wives of a guy bond together, then it must be that it is the man. There's something about the man, because it cannot be. it must be that they have finally seen something.
All right, so let me say this, right? Would you ever be friends with a person who snatched husband away from you? I'm asking you. You need to tell me in the comment. Would you ever be friends, no matter what, right? Would you ever be able to speak in good light about them? Well, she's the one who snatched the husband. Yoruba people, the person who pooped, they will forget, but the person who cleaned the poop, they never forget. So maybe that's why she's finding it easier, because she's the alleged husband snatcher, right? But I don't think she will lie that they are in good terms with Doris Simeon. If Doris Simeon is in good terms with her, and from the conduct I've seen, Doris Simeon never really talked about this. It's likely that it wasn't a husband snatching situation. It's very, very likely. But I just wanted to. But that's a question for you. Let me know what you think in the comment
About the man on which they can compare and share notes. Otherwise, they wouldn't be friends. Think with me here. Yes, because it must be that, because it couldn't have been that in the beginning when he left her and he was with you. It couldn't have been that you and she at that point were friends.
No. We're not.
You couldn't have been.
I just seen her like 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
It could have only been after he left that you now looked and she now looked, and you was like, wait, we are not enemies here.
They're not enemies.
It wasn't when he left that we became friends.
Okay.
He was still there when we were cool. When I say friends, it's not as if we go out to lunch dates or go shopping together.
I don't expect that either.
You know how you're cool with someone, because she's an intelligent, beautiful woman. She's
Just as in she can call the house and you can, well, she can call her phone, you can pick up, let me give the phone to him. Something like that. Cordial, right?
she's very talented. She doesn't have the impressions out there are crazy, because the person that I got to know, even over the phone, was someone totally different from the impression that was created in the first place, you know.
So she's kind
we
of
would talk.
so she's kind of admitting that they didn't really know each other, which again, it makes it even better. Like, you can get with somebody's ex if you don't really know each other like that. But a lot of people assume they were colleagues. People assume that these superstars are all colleagues and friends and they're close. That's usual. That it makes sense to me that that's far from the truth.
Especially about the boy, never about, you know, the man. It was about the child. What's best for him? What's going on with school? Oh, he's coming to you, or he's coming to me. Or what do we do for him? Oh, he needs this, he needs that. How do we do it? Just to make sure that he was okay. You know, so that's how it all started, just to make sure there was peace, everybody was fine, for his sake, because you don't
For
want to
the
start
boy's sake, for the
bullying him
child's
and making him
sake.
have animosity towards any party involved, you know. So, but after the whole thing ended and he became my ex, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, now they now had a common ground. Oh yeah, he has this behavior. He's a narcissist, right? That's how y'all say it. Like he must be, yeah, he did this to me too, right? Well, the question is that how come she wasn't open to the idea before? Because, you know, emotions is nobody's mate. Once she's in love. She decided that she wanted to get with somebody. Let's continue.
Me that it was like this. Be like, you didn't ask.
And the thing is, I'm not here to apportion blame to say, oh, he did this. I would never do that.
Okay.
I pride myself in being a respectful person. A lot of things were said about me on YouTube, because that's how I found out that my marriage had ended, on YouTube. Yeah, I didn't.
Listen, I listened to this a little bit before, and this is my second time of hearing that. Just imagine hearing in the public space that a whole marriage is over, right? Even if you suspected it was about to happen, it's still, you can imagine that that's still a big shock, right? So again, right now, the fact that she's talking about it in an interview in a very respectful way, I have a different level of respect for her. I think it takes a lot, right? Maybe she was a culprit. Maybe that's why. Yeah, if she was a culprit, she'll be hiding it, right? Ideally, she'll be hiding it. So I don't know. But I think this is a big deal that she's talking about it right now. And she probably needs to talk about it, because some people need to talk about it to get some kind of closure, you know. But that guy has not, I haven't seen any statement anywhere if he said anything about it at all. He just kind of disappeared. But then he's a producer, he's a movie producer. He's produced a few movies. I think his movies are on Prime Video and stuff. So if I were him, I would do the same thing. I'll focus on work. My guy.
Know that my marriage had ended. Yeah.
Let's just stop here for a minute. What do you mean you didn't know your marriage had ended? You were just browsing YouTube. You were looking for Beyonce videos, and then you saw. I mean, come on.
When I was accepted to
Let me
SGU,
skip
that was
that.
one of the greatest days of my life.
The faculty at
Well, the man in question traveled and was supposed to be away for a while and was supposed to come back. And a few days after the man traveled, my phone was buzzing. I received messages from people saying, what's going on? Are you okay? Why didn't you tell me that there was something wrong? Blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, what are all these links they are sending me? And I'm like, Roman, Isabel, let's go. Something's up. Let's put YouTube for me.
Her daughters.
And I'm there typing my name. And before I'm done typing my name, videos just start coming up. Stella's dead marriage crashes. Karma is a bitch. There's that. There's Stella in.
Let me tell you something. When it's over, for some people, it's just over. Some people will backpedal a little bit and try to fix it. I think you were just, I'm thinking right now, okay, there's a possibility that marriage was over for you. He was just trying to run away, but it was using bad behavior, escapism. You know, some people, they don't have room for that. They can't, they just like, you know what, hands off, okay? You never know what people's threshold is. You just never know. What it looks like on the outside is what it looks like. It becomes this crazy stories, and it becomes the worst case scenario. But usually there's a lot that has been going on before that, and I don't think she's going to get into that. I don't think she should, but I think you should. I'm telling you right now, you should assume that a lot has gone on behind the scenes before a person will say, right? Are there some exceptions? Yes, but that's why they're called exceptions. They're not the rule.
And this, that. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't know that, you know. And I called, we had a conversation, and even at that time, I still didn't know that anything like that had happened until I got the final call to say, no, I'm not coming back. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. You know, I don't want to go into full details. Ted, you don't do this to me. I've never talked about this or mentioned this, you know. So it's, of course, every marriage has issues. And people don't know how it all started, what impressions were created, what was said, what was not said. I'm not even going to, out of respect for all parties involved, there are some things that I'll just probably leave as is. But one thing I will say though is that it's important for you as a human being to know yourself, more and love yourself more, and know what you want and what you don't want, so that nobody will come to you and make you see things and tell you these are the things that you should want.
All right, so that know yourself thing, you know, it's not the first time you will hear that, you know, but let me help you unpack that a little bit. Knowing yourself, if you're just getting started, you won't, okay? You have to be put in a position of test. You have to be in a position of, you have to put yourself out there a little bit first, okay? That's just the reality. You're not going to know yourself outside of relationships. You need to have some kind of frame of reference, something you're measuring against. And usually that will be, hey, I've been in a situation, I'm outside of it now. Oh, I didn't know myself. Let me learn myself. And for her, that's applicable because this will be a third marriage. Now, the first one ended because her husband passed away. The second one, she claimed in another video that she was just a best friend situation and they thought it was ideal to get married. It was a bad idea because she was also doing Spirit Coco. She was doing Holy Spirit. She was engaging. She was trying to figure out her spiritual life. So she found somebody who also loved Jesus or something like that. And she thought that was the alignment that she needed. Lesson for you again. That church stuff. You need to calm down. Make sure you know what you're doing. Okay. So now in this situation, it's seemingly like this will last, right? But as we know today, it wasn't. Okay. And now she's saying, know yourself. So what does that mean exactly? What does knowing yourself mean? Right? That's the question. What does knowing yourself mean? Right? And that's something that you might have to go into this full podcast. I think is on Teju Babyface podcast to listen to the whole thing. I'll find a way to listen to the whole thing, but hopefully she gets into a little bit more of what it meant for her than in a way that, you know. But I know that she would still sugarcoat stuff and she will speak just from her own lens. But just keep that at the back of your mind that you're always dealing with another human being, and in order for you to be able to create some a good ideal polarity with them, you need to know yourself. That's a fact of life, okay? But for every individual, that means different things. Some people are too selfish. They don't need to be talking about self-love, at least not so loudly, okay? Everyone should have self-love, okay? But some people, when they say that, you know, it's a different thing to say the words. It's a different thing on how it plays out, right? Some people are just too selfish and they need to kind of calm down on that, you know? And some people are their way of selfish, which is still selfish, is they need to make other people happy and they need to calm down. They need to take care of self, because you can't be pouring from an empty cup, okay? And ultimately, I always say self-preservation. If it comes to a place where it's better to not worry about everything else for now, you know, and just let it go, you know? Just let it go for now. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. Just let it go, because what's the point if you're going to be a wreck trying to play love? It doesn't make any sense, right? It won't be love because you're pouring from an empty cup.
Because if you
so she's ultimately right.
Don't have that strength and identity of yourself, someone who is supposed to be that person for you can decide who you should be and how you should be. But
she just said a whole lot of nothing. Let's just take it that you should know yourself. Okay, if you don't already know yourself, or you're getting into a relationship, make it a goal. I'm learning myself. If you're brand new, you're getting into a fresh relationship, it's a goal. You're discovering self. When you're discovering self, you also discover other people in that process, because it's almost impossible to discover self if you're not getting to know other people, if you're not learning how to build relationship with other people. You need that frame of reference. It's that interaction that will teach you about yourself. Living in the cave somewhere, you're not going to learn anything about self, because that's not who you are as a human being. You still need to put yourself out there, but just the awareness that I'm discovering self is a big deal, okay? And that will help you.
Thing is, has polarized people, friends, family members,
That's a
in-laws. Like, I'm on this person's side. Oh, I'm team this, I'm team that. That's why I really don't talk about it. It's not as if I'm scared of anything. No, it's done. Some people are even wondering, are they still married? No, I'm not. I'm divorced. I'm single. This is the first time I'm saying it categorically, because even Rumi was like, Hesty, you know you've never said anything. Teju will ask you these questions. Are you ready to answer? I'm like, I will pray. You know, let the Holy Spirit guide my mouth. But yeah, it's done. It's been almost 3 years now. So,
It's been 3 years.
however, it's just
Hi. Thank you.
Wow, it's been 3 years. Has it been 3 years? Oh, wow. That means the whole world did not find out for a while. That is interesting. All right. If you like this video, you will like this one on the center right now. Click it. Let me see. I'll see you on the other side. Just click on this video right now. All right.